live on YouTube, everyone, and we also have ma'am joining us. So I think she'll be with us in half a minute. Hello, Poonam ma'am, you are muted. If you could please unmute, we'll appreciate it. Poonam ma'am, you're muted. Kamal, could you please unmute Poonam ma'am? Kamal?
Yeah.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
How are you, sir? Nice to
See
you across the webinar. Physically, we haven't met, but it is very nice opportunity the Shulni University has given us, the school, to interact.
Thank you.
Yes, for your expertise in stress management, will definitely, everyone will look forward for it.
Absolutely, Poonam ma'am. We have Vivek also joining us.
Yes.
He will take half a minute, 30 seconds to join us. So I think we'll be starting in another 30 seconds. And till then, once again, welcome to all the teachers on this lovely discussion today. My name is Atul Khosla. I'm also the founder and Pro Vice Chancellor of Shulini University, and really look forward to talking to all of you. So Vivek is here, and Vivek, we also have.
Hello, ma'am. Good afternoon, ma'am. How are you?
Good to see you, and good afternoon.
So for the benefit of all,
sorry,
the benefit of the viewers and Poonam ma'am, the format would be, I will request you to speak in another couple of minutes. So if you can take a minute or so introducing your school and the subject to your teachers. And Vivek will then take around 25 to 30 minutes, and then we will open it up to a panel. We'll appreciate at that point of time if you could join us in the panel to answer the questions. We'll truly appreciate. So if you allow me, can we start, Vivek, Poonam ma'am?
Sure.
Good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me, Vivek? Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay, lovely. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Poonam ma'am. Good afternoon, Vivek Atre, and good afternoon, all the lovely teachers of DPS and GRUR. Welcome to Ideas That Matter, series of webinars by Shulini University, Kasauli Hills, Himachal Pradesh. The idea behind Ideas That Matter was very simple. It was to reach out to all of you beautiful teachers, share ideas, create a platform for ideas, get inspired with each other, and then in the process, inspire our students. We are so delighted that a small initiative that Vivek and I started around 10 weeks ago is now a reasonably large movement, I would say. We have touched more than 55 different webinars, around 100 odd institutions, 100,000 teachers, and many, many more students. So it's a delight for us to speak to the lovely teachers of DPS and GRUR. Quick introduction to Vivek Atre. He's an ex-IS officer, TEDx speaker, author of 3 books, a motivational speaker, a very dear friend, and also a visiting faculty at Shulini University. But more importantly, I think why he is the best, I think, to talk about this topic today is the fact that I've never seen anyone so calm as Vivek. He's also a big proponent of meditation, and he's going to talk about that today. And the topic today is, how do we make our lives stress-free in such a stressful environment? So stress management is the topic for us today. My name is Atul Khosla. I am the founder and Pro Vice Chancellor of Shulini University, and I'll also be the host today. I'm a BTech from IIT Kanpur, an MBA, and then spent around 20 years in the industry across different multinationals. And then the teaching bug hit me in 2013, and I decided to become a teacher full time. And I love to talk, I love to take classes. And this is Vivek, my 3rd discussion for the day, just to make you jealous. So teachers, we will, Poonam ma'am, I think we lost connectivity. Kamal, you might want to upgrade her. When she comes in, I think she can address the teachers. But let's start. Vivek Atre, over to you.
Thank you very much, Atul. And it's a pleasure once more to be here. It's a great series and great initiative, and lovely to be reaching out to the teachers of DPS Sangrur, and Poonam ma'am is also here. So it's lovely to have you, ma'am. Ma'am, would you like to say a word of welcome? You are on mute. Just unmute yourself. Unmute. Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, all the students and teachers of Delhi Public Schools, Sangrur. I really am happy for Shikha for organizing this webinar, the first webinar we are having across the students and the teachers. And I'm really thankful for Shulni University for it. And definitely it's a very good topic, stress management, which is really needed at this hour, which of course are two experts with us. Atul Khosla, the Vice Proc of VC of Shulni University. Good afternoon. And Vivek Atre, TED speaker. Good afternoon, sir. Welcome. And now hand it over to you for your expertise, sir.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you.
Vivek, like I said, the format teachers will be around 25 to 30 minutes of discussion between Vivek and I, and we will then get into a panel discussion. Please post your questions and comments on the panel on the right and on the bottom. And we'll at that point of time also request Poonam ma'am to join us to answer your queries. Vivek Atre, over to you.
I will, yes, I will mute myself.
Yeah.
Right? And
right, ma'am.
I think we lost ma'am. Please start, Vivek.
So, yeah, very happy to be speaking today at this webinar, and it is a pleasure to be addressing teachers of DPS Sangrur. Ideas That Matter is a series, as Atul said, which was launched about 2 months and more ago. We have crossed 55 webinars, and we are now well on the way to reaching out to thousands and thousands of teachers already. We have also touched a lot of students and their families. I believe a lot of them are on YouTube today. So it is great to see all of you, although I can't see you exactly, but I can know that you are there. And it is a different time. Maybe if it had not been for the lockdown and the pandemic, we would have been in your school today, and Atul and I may have visited from Shulini University, where I also am a visiting professor and advisor. After resigning from the IAS 2.5 years ago, I have been a motivational speaker and an advisor and a visiting professor at Shulini. And it is lovely to speak to schools across India in this series. The topic that you have chosen today is lovely, important, and stress management at the times of the pandemic. So, is stress common nowadays? Is it prevalent everywhere? That is the first question. The answer is yes, unfortunately. Stress is something which is very much a part of our lives, and more so in certain areas than others. I still find when I go to interiors of India, villages, or if I go to Himachal in the very hilly area, let's say near Shulini University or even in Shulini University's campus, you'll find people are a little more calm, a little more cool. Not only cool because of the weather, but also calm because they don't have that much of worry as city people have in other parts of India. And if you find that village life, rural life has not changed as much as urban life. And this connected world has made our stress levels go higher. Unfortunately, too much of knowledge is not a good thing. Too much of information, too much awareness is creating stress. And you know that we are always on. What is always on? It means that we never really switch off our minds. Being always on means we are always connected. We have this enemy in the pocket. The enemy in the pocket is your phone, your smartphone, which will always be with you. And it goes to various places where no other man has ever been or no other person has ever been with you. And it is always with you. Very soon, I believe, not very soon, maybe in a few years from now, I believe that there are even plans to have a smartphone inserted inside your wrist as a chip. I'm an electronics engineer from NIT Kurukshetra. Atul is an engineer from IIT Kanpur. So we can tell you as technologists that technology is going to become even more pervasive invasive. What do we need to do? We need to balance our lives. We need to distance our lives from technology to some extent. So we need to understand that technology should be our facilitator, our helper, our associate, and not the boss. So if the phone becomes the boss, we are compelled to look at it. We are compelled to answer every message, email, everything. Then our stress levels go higher. Stress is the result also of overthinking. Overthinking means we keep on processing information in our minds. We keep on worrying. We keep on stressing out. There were times when people were simple. Those of you who are 40, 50 years old now, maybe 60, some of you, even those who are 30, would have seen times when the mobile phones were not there, when you were children, and when people were a little more simple in their mindsets. So thoughts which were there were not so many. The number of thoughts was not so many. The intensity of thoughts was not so many. Hatred was not so much. These days there is more virulent hatred, more of strong opinions. And these strong opinions are reinforced by WhatsApps and Facebook and other messages. So what should we do in all this? What should we do? We are teachers, you are teachers. I am also an educator. Atul is a Pro Vice Chancellor, he's a teacher. So what are we doing today? We have to create a generation which is less panicky and less stressed out. And for that, we ourselves have to be less panicky and less stressed out. Let us take the example of a top CEO. You can take anybody, you take somebody like Narayan Murthy, who is now retired from Infosys, but he's still the mentor of Infosys. You take Bill Gates, who is now the second richest man in the world. Jeff Bezos is the richest man in the world. He is the CEO of Amazon. Busy people. But somehow, some of them are able to handle stress and tensions better. If you look at Barack Obama versus Donald Trump, you can easily see the difference between the two personalities. You can see how calm Barack Obama is as a person, and the other person is not calm at all, as you know. So Barack Obama is a good person to emulate. If he can be calm after all the burdens of responsibility and so much of whatever he had to do as president of the US for 8 years, why can't you and I, who are into only education or motivation, why can't we be calm? What are the burdens that we have after all? The burdens of home, children, school work, office work, travel. Whenever lockdown is not there, we are traveling. Maybe some neighbors' tensions, some family tensions. These are the burdens we normally have. Somebody said something to us, so we are stressing out today because yesterday somebody called us from the extended family and said, "Ke hum to tumhare se baat nahi karenge, ye nahi hoga, wo nahi hoga." That sort of society. I've been deputy commissioner of Panchkula before I resigned, and a lot of tensions in the families used to be there. I started a program called Adar Samman to motivate the elderly, and so that we didn't have too many people who were becoming depressed because of their, the mistreatment at the hands of the younger generation. So I used to listen and understand to their problems. And what I could understand from their problems was it is a result of irritability and tension over smaller things. Property is a very big thing to be tense over. People get tense over property. People get tense over relationships. People get tense over their children's future. People get tense over their careers. All these things are okay to be tense about. It's okay, but not too much. We have to reduce the intensity and frequency of tension, intensity and frequency of worry, intensity and frequency of fear, and intensity and frequency of anger. If we think like this, and if we work on our minds, if we really make a campaign, like an election campaign of a politician, he is there to win. Whether he wins or not, it's an ultimate result. We have to make a campaign to make ourselves less stressed out. by identifying our problems, identifying what really harms our mindset, what are the factors that make us more tense than otherwise. Why is so and so cooler than us and calmer than us and more cheerful than us in the same situation? What is it from within that is making us more restless and more angry and more upset? It could be the temperature, it's getting hot, but we have cooling agencies, ACs, fans, whatever, cool drinks to have. It is not something external. It is always internal. Whatever is from within, we have to combat that and conquer that. Good to see so many of you already here. Many teachers are on Zoom. I am sure many students and teachers are on YouTube. In the first part of this session, I mentioned to you how we can combat stress and how we can actually analyze our stress factors and why we should not be wedded to technology and we should not be overthinking. This was the first part of the session. The second part of the session is now over to Atul Khosla. He will add his ideas and he will show us a video. And then I'll come back for part 3 and Atul will come back for part 4 once again. Atul, over to you.
Thank you, Vivek. I had some beautiful Rajma Chawal today for lunch. And as I was having my Rajma Chawal, I looked outside the window and I told myself, nothing can be more beautiful. In fact, I wrote a small post on that, Rajma Chawal and a Beautiful Life. And the reason I got so excited was because I had good food to eat and I was staying and living in a beautiful environment. And that's what gave me immense pleasure and took all the stress away. So, I'm going to tease all of you guys. I'm going to show a small 1-minute video from where I live. That's Shulini University. It's up in the mountains in the Himalayas. This is my home. So if any of you are jealous, don't kill me, but do come and visit me. So if you allow me, Vivek, I'm going to play this small video.
Please go ahead.
So Vivek, the reason I sort of showed this video was leaving the word inspiration behind. I do believe that if we can inspire others, if we can make others successful, that can be very inspiring for each one of us. So as teachers, if we can make our students successful, that's sort of nirvana, and that can really, really take away day-to-day stress away, because the bigger picture is so much nicer than the day-to-day quagmire that we normally face. I think the second thought which I'd like to tell all the teachers and the students here is, if you're stressed, and that's what I do, I transport myself to an environment that's stress-free. And what could be better than, the mountains? And we're very lucky, of course. I'm very lucky. I live in the mountains. But then I've also learned a small trick. I also close my eyes and I can transport myself virtually. And you can do that over the computer also to more exciting environments. And last but not the least, what I also try to do, Vivek, is I also switch off from negative thoughts. So just keep away from negative people, keep away from negative thoughts. And if you think there are people in your life who keep on always talking negative, just cut them from your life. Uh, Especially that happens in work environments, Vivek. So Sandeep Bakshi is a very dear friend of mine. He's the CEO of ICICI Bank. He once told a very, very interesting story to me. We were traveling from Chandigarh to Solan. He said, Atul, I really hate these people inside organizations who keep on complaining all the time. All the time they keep complaining. So what happens is people who are associated with them leave that company or leave that school or leave that college or leave that organization. But these guys who are complaining, they are stuck over there for life. They don't leave, but they make everyone else leave. So if you got colleagues over there, you got people around over there who are complaining, who are negative, guys, just cut them out of your life. It's not worth it. Life is about being happy. Life is about enjoying every beautiful moment of life. And you've learned this the hard way during COVID. Vivek, over to you.
Thank you very much, Atul. Very inspiring words and very inspirational video as well. And so let me continue with the session and let me tell you all 3 short stories. Very short, very small. The first one is about an old lady. And this old lady was very ill, very old, in the hospital and lying down quietly. Her grandson was quite a young man, smart gentleman sitting with her, about 25 years old, grandson, holding her hand. And every few minutes, this lady, she was looking out of the window. She would say something. He couldn't hear because she was mumbling very slowly. But then he went closer to her and he heard what she was saying. She was saying, there goes another one. There goes another one. There goes another one. This is what she was saying. So he thought maybe grandma is getting a little delirious, not well, unconscious. But she realized that my grandson thinks that I'm unconscious or just, babbling. So she says, look at those aeroplanes going by. One by one, the aeroplanes are going, the airport is nearby. I am praying for all those people on that aeroplane, each aeroplane. I pray for them. He learned the lesson of his life. Every time an aeroplane is going, she prays for those people. She doesn't know them. She'll never meet them, but she prays for them. And that is selfless living, how we learn from an old lady. What is the secret of life? Secondly, a taxi driver was supposed to drop another old lady, from a home for elderly to a hospice. A hospice is a place where a person goes for the end of life, and where we know that she's terminally ill, she will not come back. She will spend her last days being looked after over there. So he goes to pick her up, the taxi driver. She's alone, family is not there. And he picks her up. She says, driver, can you go around the city before going to the hospice? He says, sure. So for 3 hours, he drives her around the city. And she tells him, she has grown up in that city. She says, this is the place where I went to school, my first school. This is that. Then she said, this is the place where I did my higher education. Then she takes him somewhere else. This is the place where I got my first job. This is the place where I got married. This is the place where I lived with my husband for many, many years. We had children. They see 10 or 12 places. Everybody's life is full of so many happenings. And then he drops her at the hospice. she's quite happy to have gone through her life journey with him, unknown person, at the end of her life. And she's relaxed. She said, how much do I pay you? He said, nothing. You have taught me the lesson of life today. Every human being has so much to contribute, so much to do. We have to be grateful, thankful for what we have. It's a great lesson. Before I go on to the next story, let me just elaborate on this. Being thankful and grateful is a way to be stress-free, to be calm. Atul said that I look calm. There are people even calmer looking. I don't know how calm I am. Calmer people. Always grateful, thankful, going on thanking the Lord, going on thanking God, going on thanking their parents, their sister, their brother, their friends, their whoever, their children. So being grateful in your prayers, morning, evening, even during the day, and being connected with the Almighty is a great idea. If you meditate, you are connected through your scriptures, through your readings, through your religion, through spirituality. You can really make a beautiful life. Go on talking to God. Go on thanking Him all the time. And life becomes beautiful. Many people do that. And the third story is of Arthur Ashe. Arthur Ashe was a great tennis player. He went to Wimbledon. He won Wimbledon. Wimbledon is the biggest tennis tournament of the world. This year it could not take place because of the pandemic, but it will be back next year like the Olympics. Wimbledon was under his belt. He won it. He was on top of the world. Everybody said, Arthur, we love you. We are so fond of you. We are crazy about you. And he got all the adulation from across the world. After 10 or 12 years, he was dying. He got an ailment. He was not well. And as he was dying, he got letters from all over the world saying, Arthur, why is this happening to you? All his fans wrote to him. He wrote back in longhand. They used to write letters those days. You know it. There was no SMS, WhatsApp, or email. He wrote a letter by hand to each one of them. He said, when I won Wimbledon, I realized I have so much to be grateful about. I did not ask God, why is this happening to me? Why have I won Wimbledon? Now, why should I ask God now when I am ill and critically ill? That why is this happening to me? Why not to somebody else? So we are normally cribbing. At times we are cribbing at least. Cribbing and complaining adds to our stress. Negative thoughts add to our stress. As Atul said, happiness is the key to life. A Golgappa man, a rickshawala, a poorest of the poor person may be happier than us. Not because of money, obviously, but because of his attitude. The richest man also can be of two types, as we noticed. Bill Gates, humble, charitable, person who gives. Azim Premji, Narayan Murthy, Ratan Tata, examples of people who give, who have always believed in looking after society. Many other companies we can talk about, we don't need to name them. Selfish, revenue driven, thinking only of themselves, thankless, people who have helped us in our careers. We need to be grateful to them, thankful to them. I'm going to give you the example. We are talking to Sangrur, and we have a new chief secretary in Punjab. Mrs. Winnie Mahajan is the chief secretary of Punjab today. Mr. Karan Avtar Singh is not the chief secretary. He's going to retire in 2 months. What I'd like to say to you is that I have worked with Mr. Karan Avtar Singh in Chandigarh. I was director of IT and he was principal secretary, finance and IT. Gem of a person. Wonderful officer. Calm and cool. Even now I know he has no ill will that he is no longer chief secretary. He is quite cool. I met him a few days ago, very close to him. Why I'm giving this example to you is that there are people in the same profession who are better, positive, calm, cool, and in the same profession there are people who are always what we say in school or college, we'll say rondu type, or we'll say jo hamesha hi dukhi atma. Why should we be like that? The electricity is not there, the water is not okay, the food is not okay, the society is not okay, the MC is not okay. Why should we always be thinking of these things? School is not okay. There are so many plus points in our life that our plus points need to be focused upon. Stress reduces when we do that. Let's talk about this pandemic for a minute. The pandemic is for everybody in the world. Some cities, towns more than others. Punjab has quite a number. Haryana has a number. Himachal not so many. Chandigarh has a few. The point is that these cases are there. I, in my home or my school or wherever I am more affected than others mentally. Why should I be? Why should I be more affected than anyone else? Why should I be more pessimistic? You know, I have an argument with my sister. She forwards everything blindly to the group, family group, without thinking. WhatsApp. 2020 is a disaster. Everybody is forwarding this one. I don't do it. I say no. Abhi 30th June mein nahi aaya. We have had a terrible time in the let's say in the last 3 months, no doubt. But there are so many things which have improved at the same time. Environment improved. Number of road accidents went down drastically until the migrants unfortunately were killed. Road accidents were very few. Asthma related cases, very few. People falling ill due to other illnesses suddenly vanished. Nobody was coming to the hospital. Plus points and minus points of everything are there. 30th June has not only come, half the year is still there. So I tell my sister, don't send such negative forwards. Disastrous, time bomb, ye ho jayega, wo ho jayega. Why live in that world? Also, don't watch the TV news so much. TV news is not to be. They sell negativity. Watch sports, even watch 1983 World Cup. It was 24th June, 37 years ago. We won the World Cup. Watch hockey, football, cricket, whatever you love, old matches. Watch movies, read books. Books, I must tell you, teachers, if you read books, your life will become fulfilling. Nobody reads books nowadays. Very few people. Sit down with a book. If you are sitting with a book in this pandemic time, you are really blessed. Even if half an hour a day. Every morning I get up, I do some prayer, meditation, and I start reading. I really look forward to it. And it is a positive way to start. Reading something or the other will give you a life which is fulfilling. So this is something that I want to leave with you. And we'll talk a little more later. Stress is something you can handle. And we'll talk about meditation in a little bit. But before that, over to you, Atul, for your inputs and another inspiring video.
Thank you, Vivek. It's so amazing always to hear your views. I think it's so exciting. I wanted to sort of leave a couple of thoughts over here, Vivek, about happiness and success, because ultimately we all want to be successful in life, and we all want to make sure that we have enough money with us. And we, of course, will link that to happiness, and we'll link that to having a stressful life. So there was a research which was done by Harvard University, and they've been doing this for the last, I think, 80 years. So they covered 4 different generations of people. And the research was to understand what differentiates people who are successful in the conventional sense with money and fame versus people who weren't. So they took up 2 sets of people. They took up Harvard graduates, and they took up street people from the streets of Boston. And they tracked them for 80 years. And surprisingly, after 80 years, there was an equal mix of successful people, people from the streets and the people from the great Harvard University. And the learning was very simple. The learning was that, surprisingly, happy people became successful. So people who were successful were more likely to be happy. So it's not the other way around. So it's not as if successful people become happy, but if you're happy, you become successful. And they went then probed the question, what does happiness mean? The answer that came out was being away from a lonely existence. So being away from negativity and ensuring that there is a huge support structure around you, support structure of family, of parents, of friends, and the community. So I think the thought I'd leave with all of you over here, teachers, is building those relationships with sometimes your parents, your friends, with your students is so important for you to be stress-free. And also, if you're stress-free, your chances of success dramatically go up. Interestingly, I was speaking to my dad, who happens to be a teacher, Vivek, and he made a very interesting point. He said, I think uh, kids and children of teachers are way more successful in whether they are engineers or doctors or IS officers than people who are not. So I think we should anyway be very proud that we have beautiful children, and also we have beautiful families. So there's no reason for us to be stressful. At this juncture, I wanted to show a small video of Aman. Aman is a student of Shulini. She had a bit of a stressful childhood, was a difficult child, and magic happened when she started doing her PhD. She got inspired, and she's done some amazing work. She's won something called the Young Water Fellowship. It's a UN award, very prestigious. More than 100,000 people across the world apply for it. Aman got it, spent 6 months in Geneva as part of this United Nations award, came back and won a 25 lakh award from Tata Trust. An amazing story. She will probably change the way we drink water, but let me pull this small video up. And I wanted to link it to stress because as Aman got into her work, as she brought creativity to her work, as she started getting engaged in her work, the difficulties she had in terms of stress, depression, and all the sort of stuff went away. So using the right brain and getting engaged in work is also a great way to keep stress away. And I would love to show this video if you allow me. Vivek, can I?
Sure.
Okay, here you go, guys. Vivek, we teachers are blessed. We have the opportunity of changing lives. And I think we should be really thankful for that. I was also seeing some statistics. 15% of the world's population does not have access to clean drinking water. So I think even when we drink a glass of water, which is as plain and simple as that, this is an opportunity for us to thank God, to thank our parents, and to thank people around. And I think these small, simple acts can lead to managing stress. And I think the last thing I like to talk about is helping our students with stress. And this is probably the school has already done, Vivek, but students do need a lot of support nowadays. They need a lot of, I would say, structured support. So at Shulini, what we've done is we have a 24-hour helpline where students can reach out any point of time for any problem they have. So it's a volunteer of 6 teachers and also 1 consultant who's there. And we're offering that as a service to our students. So far, around, I think 324 students have called very stressful times for the youth. I didn't realize till we started this effort. So that's an initiative I think that all of us as teachers should reach out to our students and help them relieve the stress. Over to you, Vivek.
Thank you, Atul. I believe we have only a few minutes left. So I'll just put in one more point to you, and that is two techniques of relieving stress immediately. I'll just share with you. I follow Kriya Yoga, which is started by Paramhansa Yogananda, the author of the Autobiography of a Yogi. You may have seen this book or read this book or known about it. Autobiography of a Yogi by Paramhansa Yogananda. So he started the teachings of Kriya Yoga again, although they are ancient teachings, and his guru's guru. So I follow them. One of the things that they tell us is that basic, simple mindfulness and watching your breath, simple technique of meditation. Focus on the moment and notice your breath. Sit with your eyes closed, think of God, and just relieve yourself of all pressure. If your breath becomes quieter and calmer, your mind also becomes quieter and calmer, your stress levels go down. So overthinking should not be there. Meditation, deeper meditation. I do Kriya Yoga morning and evening. At some stage of life, you have to start. And life cannot go by without meditation. Meditation has to be there. Whatever religion you follow, whatever prayers you do, must do them. And meditation should be a part of the routine. Also, yoga and fitness, physical fitness also relieves stress. Those of you who are, if I can very seriously and humbly, I can say that if you are overweight, if you think you can work on your physical fitness, please work harder. And even if you are not overweight, you need to have a long walk, brisk walk, play badminton, whatever age you are, it doesn't matter. And the last point of the day is creativity, which Atul said. And stress goes away when you are being creative. When you are singing or dancing or playing or painting or writing poetry or stories or essay competitions or whatever it is, or photography, just do whatever you can, or maybe cooking new dishes, anything that you feel is creative and less stressful. That will make your life much, 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 much better, calmer, and happier. And ultimately, the goal of life is happiness and not success. Success without happiness is not the goal. I'll quickly show my book. It is called Finding Success Within, and it has come out this year. It is available on Amazon. It is 52 life skills for young Indians. And this book is also available for you to read. So these are tips for you and ideas for you. And as if I can close by saying that these are ideas that truly matter. Over to you, Atul.
Thank you. I think at this juncture, we'll request Poonam ma'am to please unmute herself and start her video. So I think as she's doing that, I'll request our teachers to please ask questions. If you have any thoughts, ideas, I'm sure this is a time that is difficult for all of us. And as I think students are doing that and Poonam ma'am comes up, Vivek, I have a question for you. You know,
Sure.
Teachers are in real stress today. I actually call the teachers true Corona warriors. You know, they're managing the homes, they're managing their families, they are daughters, they are mothers. I think many of them are ladies. So, you know, there's so much stress on them sometimes from the family. How should teachers manage it? I mean, so much stress around. What should they do?
Yeah, I think it's a good point. You're right. And Atul Costa has been saying in all the webinars that teachers are Corona warriors. And why not? Because they are struggling and working hard in this time. They have online classes, they have pressures, and they have their own families and responsibilities to look after. So I think the best thing that teachers can do is to prioritize, to give more time to those things which are important and less time to other things which are time wasting, if they can. There are maybe, of course, classes have to be taken if they are online. That has to be done. Work has to be completed. That has to be done. It can't be avoided. But there are things in your day which are perhaps time consuming, which can be eliminated. So take out half an hour for yourself. Meditation, reading, walking, music, something that you love and that will recharge your mind and batteries. And you will feel refreshed and rejuvenated to handle your responsibility. That's my trick.
Poonam ma'am, how do you help our youngsters in today's world, you know, especially with Corona? I mean, I would love to hear your views on this.
See, my view is that everyone should have a schedule made for them. Just now, the students and the teachers both are under pressure and they are having more stress. Students can't move out, they can't meet their friends, they can't mingle with their friends, they can't even play outside, which is all restricted. So they also need certain energy to leave out that energy, whichever they are stored inside their body. So it has to go out. And how it can go out by physical exercise only, which is very important for their health also, because if they are stressed, their mental and physical health will be affected. That is along with the teachers also. So for that, the students are jungling between peer pressure also and the parent pressure also. Pressure is from both the side and they're confined into one room only, 4 walls. They can't move out. So more pressure is on the youngsters. And of course, the teachers, as you have already said, and I agree with Vivek sir, that me time is very important. If we don't have me time and we don't love ourselves, we'll not be able to be happy and therefore will not be able to succeed in whatever we are doing. So that me time is very important. This is the time which God has given us, extra time. We shouldn't see the negative side, we should see the positive side. And the positive side is that just now we are getting an extra time. We keep on thinking, time milega to hum ye kar lenge, time milega to wo kar lenge. This is an opportunity to explore. Someone they can take out, like one teacher, co-teacher of mine, colleague, one of the colleague only. He had gone, he's helping his father in the farm, in the ad doing, and he's created a swimming pool there because his passion is swimming. So he's created a swimming pool, and with all he's bringing it up. So that is how your stress can be released and you will remain happy with it. Come out with certain, the students and the teachers can help each other. I know the pressure is for the teachers nowadays, as you all know, financial pressure is there on the teachers. Plus in the students, they have, they're confined it. So everyone is in stress. So I don't want anyone to be stressful. I want them to fight the stress than rather the stress take them over it. So that is very good, that the physical exercise and of course listening to the music and moving on. Very important, I want that whatever the friends they have in the group, they should make a conference call and lose out their energy. When they talk to their friends, the technology has made it so easy so that they can have a video calling also, conference calling also, and they can release their whatever nonsense, like students, they like to say about the teacher, they want to crib about their friends also. So they should come out, release the energy from, even the teacher should release. I think so that is very important for them. That is the part of everyone's life, daily life. We have also done that in our school time and everyone does that. So this is the way they can be stress-free.
So beautifully said, ma'am.
Yeah,
really, truly wonderful. Yeah, please go ahead.
I just want a few techniques from Sir Vivek sir in his expertise, which you can guide a few more techniques for especially the teachers and the students to like, I know they have their, the teachers, they have to be at home, they have to see their family, they have to, a new challenge was there, the Zoom classes, which they were not familiar, but they did a very good job and the commendable job was done by everyone. They came up with it. Now the pressure is to come up to the most standard is required and everything has to come up to it. So the pressure is there from home also, and pressure is financial and pressure is to come up to the standard of the school. Students have their own, the academic pressure is there, the prayer pressure is there, and they cannot play out. So they all are in the same. So which techniques, more techniques, schedule if it is made, and how they can, of course, you've given that you can listen to the music and have a physical exercise, that should be in a routine. But how they more can stress out, they can write, I think so, if you agree, they can, some might be a very good poet, which is hidden in it. They should express them out in some way or the other, which help in releasing.
I can tell you.
I just believe one thing, if you're smiling every time and you remain silent in a conflict, you will be the winner. That's my.
So
Very well
Vivek,
said, very well
you do a
explained.
lot of, sorry, I'm interrupting. You do a lot of meditation and why don't we do 2 minutes of
Yeah,
techniques or meditation
meditation.
through you? Would love to
Sure,
do that.
we'll do 1 minute, we'll do. And before that, I'll mention two more techniques which you can think about. My daughter is actually helping people with stress, writing therapy, art therapy. So take it as therapy. When you're writing your woes on a piece of paper or your thoughts, expressing your stress is unburdened. When you're painting or creating something, indulging creativity, it is de-stressing yourself. And then meditation, which we'll do now. So just sit straight and focus at the point between the eyebrows. Close your eyes and now while your focus is at the point between the eyebrows, just notice your breath coming in and out calmly for 1 minute. Just notice it, don't control it. Only this activity we will do, starting now. Thank you. I think all of us wanted to go on a little more. If I can guess, all of us were feeling very nice with this. But let me just tell you, try to do this 5 to 10 minutes every day. What happens? Your breath and your mind are interlinked. What I have learned from Kriya Yoga, when you are focusing on your breath, the breath feels shy or whatever, it starts becoming slower. And instead of racing, it starts becoming slower. And your mind also quietens. Thoughts may come, one or two thoughts or more thoughts, let them come and go. But you keep focusing on your breath as much as possible. If you do this regularly, your concentration improves, your stress goes down, and your spiritual journey begins. So, all these benefits on a very simple technique. You can do this. You can read a while, type out the website. I think Chika or Kamal know the website and they will do it. But otherwise, we can do this some other day as well. Practice this much, man. This is very important. Yeah, this is the site. So you can go through the site and follow the meditation techniques.
Thank you, Vivek. I think extremely inspirational. We are so excited to do this session today. Got so much energy from all of you. And Poonam ma'am, what lovely thoughts from you. You have a beautiful school and I think absolutely lovely teachers. And we're so excited to have done this. I think once the weather gets okay, what I mean by the weather is once Corona is gone, I would love to come over to your school. I would love to
Definitely,
visit
we
Sangrur.
welcome you.
But more importantly, also invite you and your teachers over to Shulini. Would love to
Sure.
sort of engage with each other. But thank you so much. I think before we close, Vivek, as I always ask you, your last thoughts, your last closing remarks.
Yes, stay calm. Calmness is your best friend, and restlessness is your enemy. So, calmness must be cultivated and developed in your mind and yourself. Stay calm always. That is my last message. And stay connected. I think Shikha has typed out our coordinates and social media IDs. You can be connected. Thank you.
Thank
Poonam
you,
ma'am,
sir.
your last thoughts before we say thanks to each other.
I'll every time say, keep smiling. If you smile, you will be stress free, and you will make the other also stress free with your smile. So I
I'm
leave it.
so glad you said that, ma'am. Smiling also releases dopamine and oxytocin. And
Yes,
even if you
definitely.
artificially smile, and for all the lovely ladies out there, it's also good for the skin. So keep smiling, you'll have a natural glow. And as they said in Lion King, the movie, Hakuna Matata, don't worry, be happy. I think that's so important to be stress-free and calm. Once again, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Atul Khosla, on behalf of Shuluni University, thank all of you, and Vivek and Poonam ma'am for this absolutely wonderful session. Have a great day.
Thank you,
Thank you.
sir, and thank you, everyone. Thank you.